And now the end is here. They did it. So let's discuss it.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey folks, so quick editor's note, this video was originally going to be one long video, but when I realized I talked for over 40 minutes, just about 2 episodes, granted they are the last 2 episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian, it kind of takes up a little bit of time. So what I decided to do was to make it a little bit more digestible and separate them into 2 parts. So part 1 is going to feature my review of episode 15, not episode 15. It's going to consist of my review of chapter 15, The Believer, and then the next part that will come out on the channel will cover the finale, chapter 16, The Rescue, which got huge spoilers in it. So hopefully you will watch both of those. I figure this way it'll be a little bit more digestible than watching one very long video, just me rambling for about 40 minutes. So hope you enjoy. Really appreciate you watching, and on with the video. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and we are here at the final 2 episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian, entitled The Believer and The Rescue. Obviously, this is a spoiler discussion, spoiler review for those last 2 episodes, and overall general thoughts of the season as a whole. So, if you have not seen these final 2 episodes of season 2 of The Mandalorian, please stop this video. As much as I'd love for you to watch this video, I would like you to watch those episodes first, and then come back and check out my thoughts and my review of the Believer and The Rescue. Major cameo, major after credit scene. It's the first for Star Wars that there's an after credit scene on the finale as well. The bulk of this review will be about the finale, but I want to discuss chapter 15, The Believer, as well, which we will start right now. So chapter 15 was entitled The Believer. This was directed by Rick Famuyiwa, and it saw the return of Miggs Mayfield, played by Bill Burr. His return was actually teased in the previous episode entitled The Tragedy. He is the former Imperial officer and sharpshooter that we encountered back in season 1, but he was incarcerated by Mando after a failed prison break that Mando participated in. We find him on a prison planet serving out his time, and with the help of Cara Dune and Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, they pick up Miggs Mayfield in order to use his services to locate Moff Gideon. Since he is a former Imperial officer, he knows how to access their stuff. So with the help of Miggs Mayfield, they locate a former Imperial base still in operation, where they can access one of the Imperial terminals in order to locate Moff Gideon's ship. They have to disguise themselves as Imperial officers, and there's a really cool kind of back and forth about who's going in with them, because they don't want him to go in by himself because, again, he's still not super trustworthy at this point. Cara Dune wants to go, but they have ways of detecting if someone is a member of the New Republic or not, so that kind of rules her out. With Fennec Shand, she's actually wanted by remnants of the Empire, so there's a no-go for her. And I think Boba Fett has the funniest line where it's like, I think they would recognize my face. So, unfortunately or fortunately, it has to be Mando, and we get to see him change out of his armor into an Imperial officer's armor. It's kind of weird and played for comedy, but it also brings up a very logical discussion in the episode between Miggs and Mando, talking about what are the rules in regards to the Mandalorian culture or religion. I mean, is he allowed to take off his helmet at all, or is it just no one can see his face? Because Miggs points out there's a big difference with that. I really like this episode. There was a lot of character interactions, and we got to see a lot of different points of view in this episode compared to what we've seen beforehand. Especially with the idea of, with Mando and being so devout to the religion and the culture of the Mandalorian, to never remove his helmet. We've seen him remove his helmet, not necessarily by choice. At the season 1 finale, IG-11 removed his helmet in order to heal him. Granted, they were the only 2 people in the room at the time. But with this season, we've seen that his beliefs and his devotion to the Mandalorian culture, initial rigidness has been able to bend and be more flexible, unlike at the when we're first introduced to him in season 1. And a lot of that has to do with his relationship with Grogu. He really does care for Grogu, and you see that not only in this episode, but in the finale as well. So as they're trying to make their way to this base disguised as Imperial officers, delivering a very volatile shipment of material that is highly explosive if it goes over a certain amount of speed or a lot of vibrations and stuff like that, they're attacked by locals who are trying to disrupt the Empire's hold in that sector of the planet. And it becomes kind of a challenge for them to get to the base, but they are actually rescued by the Imperial forces from the base. So we get to see that side of the Empire where they've never been looked at like the good guys in the situation, and in this situation they are the ex machina that helps them get to the base safely. As they're making their way through the base, they find the terminal, but unfortunately Mig sees a former Imperial officer that he served under, and he was concerned that his face would be recognized. So Mando has to go in and try to get the information from the terminal. Unfortunately, it needs a facial recognition in order to access the terminal. And obviously, he would have to take his helmet off. And there was this pause. There was this moment where he really had to make a choice. It's like, is your beliefs or your devotion to the culture or to the religion stronger than your love for and your desire to rescue the child? Obviously it's not, because he takes his helmet off. And this is huge. This is a huge moment because Miggs actually gets to see his face. It's not even that. It's such a big character growth for Mando as a whole. With that conversation earlier in the episode, Miggs challenges him to, like, at certain points, in order to do things, you have to be willing to bend on your not morals, but you have to bend on your beliefs a little bit, depending on what you're trying to do. And his desire to rescue and protect Grogu usurps his desire to maintain the Mandalorian oath that he took, which I find super, super cool for the character as a way to develop him further and to see where he goes in future seasons. After he gets the information, they are encountered by the former lead officer that Miggs was concerned about, and they have this really tense discussion because he invites them to sit down and to have a drink. Of course, you can't just run out of there. And I would say I really love that interaction, that scene, especially Bill Burr's performance. I'm sorry if I'm screwing with that, but his performance was, you could read all the emotion on his face. It's like how I had mentioned with Rosario Dawson's performance of Ahsoka in the previous video, where you don't have to say a lot, but you get the tension, you get the backstory, you get how he feels based off of what's coming out of his mouth and just off of his face. So they reference an operation that occurred after the Battle of Endor, where they kind of did almost like a scorched earth thing on some of the planets where the Empire was still there, to try to weaken the rebellions and the New Republic before they really took hold. And this officer was gloating about the success of it, while Miggs was gripping with being there and seeing a lot of his comrades die at the hands of the Empire that they were so loyal to. It just gets to this really tense moment, and Miggs just blows the guy away with one shot. He shot first, definitively, and leaving Mando like shocked. They have to now escape an Imperial base after they pretty much just killed a commanding officer. It's a really cool sequence. They get out of the base, they're picked up by Boba Fett and Slave One, and they escape, which is really cool. At the end of the episode, before they escape, Miggs blows up the element. I forget the name of the element, but they blow it up and destroy the base. So he's like, I can sleep at night better now. It's a really cool sequence. I really liked it. And they end the episode by pretty much letting Miggs go. They let him go. They said, oh, it's too bad he died in the explosion. So he's a free man. Hopefully we'll see him in another season. Maybe he'll appear in another season, or he may be picked up in one of these new series that are coming out. They've got one called Rangers of the New Republic. Maybe he'll turn over a new leaf. Who knows? But I think Bill Burr's performance in the episode was really good. Even though it wasn't a huge episode like some of the episodes of the season have been, it's a really well-acted episode, and it really gave a lot of light to how some people still feel about the Empire, whether they're still dedicated to it and they're excited that they feel like they're trying to regain a foothold in the galaxy, or someone from Mig's perspective where he was with that. He was with the Empire. He was dedicated, and then he felt betrayed. And looking back on it, like a lot of people, they probably regretted a lot of the choices they made. And I just thought that was a really, really cool thing to explore in this episode, especially for like the penultimate episode leading into the finale. There is a closing scene where Mando contacts Moff Gideon and kind of reiterates what Gideon said to him in the season 1 penultimate episode, telling him, you have something I want, and you have no idea how much that it means to me, or it means more to me than you will ever know. I'm paraphrasing that, but that's kind of the gist of what he said. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.